What's going on? Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, you can. All right. I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible because I haven't ate today. Um, just want to start out by saying that Wednesday is World Kufia Day or Hata Day. So if you have one of these scarves, wear them out in support of Palestine. So today I want to talk about just the difference in the last week or so between Joe Biden and AMLO of Mexico. But before I even start that, I wanted to share a quick video of Zelensky singing. So this is his page, Fool's Gone Wild on Instagram. They have a page on Twitter too that you can follow, but most of their memes are on Instagram. When I was young, my mama had me of 17 years old, kicked out on the street. Go back into time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. Spared from school, I'm scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys breaking all the rules. Shed tears with my baby sister. Over the years, we was cooler than another kid. And even though we had different days, saying why when things went wrong, to blame mama. I reminisce on the stress I felt. It was hell, hanging on my mama from a jail cell. And food thinking elementary. Hey, I see the penitentiary one day. Running from the police, that's right. Mama tried to put a whip to my backside. And even as a cat kid, mama, you always was a cat queen, mama. I'm gonna have to spend for a woman for the easy, trying to live in it. When I was young, yeah, my mama had me 17 years old. All right, so thank you for joining. If you caught that, that was Zelensky singing before he started collaborating with Azov. So I don't know what happened, but he grew. I think he maybe even got shorter. Okay, so let's talk about last week and Joe Biden and what he was up to on Cinco de Mayo. So okay, very typical white people celebrating a holiday that really isn't celebrated at all in Mexican culture. But Joe Biden hosts Mexico's first lady at Cinco de Mayo celebration. Joe Biden, can you see this? Can you see it? All right. Joe Biden on last week on May 5th marked Cinco de Mayo on Thursday by honoring the impact that Mexican Americans and their other immigrant communities have in the United States as he hosted a White House party with Mexico's First Lady as the guest of honor. So they invited AMLO's wife to the White House to talk about Mexicans and just lump up all Latinos in general together and say some pretty racist stuff in their speech. But they invited her to Washington, D.C. to eat steak tacos, pork tamales, empanadas, not really a Mexican thing, ceviche, jamaica salad, and watermelon. as well as chocolate dipped churros, margaritas on the rocks, beer, and other drink options. Oh, and they even a chef made mashed avocados for guacamole and a large molcajete. So the full TGIF Fridays experience at the White House for the First Lady of Mexico. So let's switch over to quick video about that. Before I start this, remember to do your part to support the people of Ukraine. The actual citizens of Ukraine. Nobody has anything against innocent civilians in the middle of war. It's the Azov Nazi battalion that everyone has a problem with. Everyone that has a brain and can see what's going on. All right. The Casablanca. I have a problem that she said ragtag. She like puts Mexicans down um, like they couldn't defend themselves from France. I don't know. Just like we put you in cages. It's so special that we steal resources from you and pay your workers really badly with our American companies. And we shut down American factories here. Joe Biden's laugh. Definitely do not invite Joe anywhere. I try to go to that LULAC conference before, and I wasn't invited. I didn't qualify. And LULAC, if I'm thinking of the right organization, it's like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce for Latin people. What's up, Steve Cutler? How are you? We're just watching the Cinco de Mayo fiesta at the White House last week. And then we're going to go into what AMLO in Mexico has been doing last week. You're the one who speaks the foreign language. You tell me. Nobody that speaks Spanish calls it the Casa Blanca. They call it the White House. Right on. Thank you for watching. All right. So if you didn't see what she said that the future of the United States and Mexico is intertwined. And keep that in mind when I bring on what AMLO is doing. And if we have time, we'll go over his full speech that he had on May 1st, International Workers' Day, where he went to a brand new oil refinery and he spoke to all the workers um, and about a specific program that's basically like, I forget the name of the program. It's basically like the version of the civilian climate corps or whatever. Basically, they're just giving jobs to they're investing in Mexico in their infrastructure and in their farming. So they have like a jobs program. Not what's happening here. But at the refinery, like I mentioned, Mexico used to export crude oil, and then they would import processed oil. So they never had the infrastructure to, or adequate infrastructure in Mexico to actually, what's it called, refine the oil. Now they're investing to do it, cutting out the international companies like Shell, Chevron, whoever's buying oil directly from Mexico, probably BP. But I'm jumping around. All right.
All over to the White House, especially understanding just the First Lady.
So awkward. He's probably like hola, which is gracias.
Secretary of Education, where are you?
Where's the other token Mexican guy?
There he is. He's educating people in back. There you go. How are you? That's my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter. My best buddies when we served together, and I think probably one of the best ambassadors we've ever had to Mexico and anywhere else. Kent Salazar.
I don't know who Ken Salazar is, but oh, check this out.
He kept telling me about to walk out. Not a first lady. We were campaigning.
Off script. War story.
Eastern Colorado. We're about to walk out, and there was a beautiful renovated railroad station. The railroad. It was magnificent. And he kept telling me, he said, "No, look, Joe, there's a couple thousand people across the track. And he said, the Latinos, you got to be respectful." I'm not going to be respectful. And I said,
he probably used that railroad station to transport later kids in cages or something.
He said, "You don't understand about prejudice. You don't get it." And I listened to him, and he pointed out, he said, "Look, my family's been here 400 years." And I said, "Well, mine's not been here that long. I don't think it's anywhere." Anyway, so we talked a little longer. He kept talking about, be careful. Remember this? And this beautifully renovated station. I mean, it's gorgeous. And it was about the size of, I don't know, it was from here way into the crowd. About every 6 or 8 of the reception room. And I said, I genuinely understand. He said, no, I said, turn, I said, take a look at this. No Irish allowed, because it was renovated exactly what it was in 1869. So I don't really know. Anyway, I just want to remind.
He's telling this story to the Mexican first lady that, hey, I went to a railroad station in eastern Colorado that was recently renovated, and his buddy's like, be careful what you say around all the Mexicans here. And now he's telling this story like he understands what prejudice is because this rail station had a plaque that said no Irish allowed from, way back in the day. Like he experienced it or something.
And how many diplomats are here from various parts of the, I sleep with teachers every night. Same one.
Whoa.
If I didn't like teachers, I'd be sleeping alone. I'd be in a different place. And Jill said Cinco de Mayo is a day to celebrate freedom and resilience. And it's also a day to celebrate friendship. And President Lopez Obrador, when he was kind enough to come up and see me here in the Oval and the White House in November, and he pointed to a portrait, a portrait over the mantel of the White House in the Oval Office. And it's a picture of it's a big portrait of Franklin Delano Roosevelt hanging on the wall. And he told me that he liked Roosevelt because he was the president who initiated the good neighbor policy between our two nations. We talked about that. Well, I told him that today the United States and Mexico are more than good neighbors. We're genuine, true friends, partners. There's an unshakable bond strengthened by mutual respect, our shared commitment to the prosperity and security of both nations. It's not our backyard, it's our front yard. Thank you very much.
It's the front yard. Mexico's the United States front yard. The property's not yours, brother.
Those bonds are further strengthened by our shared history and heritage, culture, pride, the Mexican, the heritage and culture of an essential part of the American. It's part of American culture. And that's why I made it a priority to build a government that looks like America, including the most diverse cabinet ever assembled. Family. Through the American Rescue Plan, every family and Latino entrepreneurs are leading the way, starting new businesses last year at the fastest rate in more than a decade, 23% faster than the pre-pandemic. The reason I mention this is a big deal. Prosperity and jobs for Latino communities affects everybody, and we're working.
He's like talking about Latino communities like we belong to Mexico still. Like, you know, he's talking about Latinos that are Americans. They're not Mexicans anymore. But he's saying like, no, they don't belong here. They're immigrants. There's Mexicans in America that have been here for generations. From before obviously, like the more indigenous people have been here way long. The Aztecs who have roamed southwest and northern Mexico.
As I said, it's important. I said in my State of the Union address, we can secure our borders and keep lit the torch of liberty. On my first day in office, I sent an immigration bill to Congress that would provide a pathway to citizenship for immigrants contributing to our economy. We are an immigrant nation. I mean, we say that, but people act like they don't believe it. We are an immigrant nation, and that is our strength. That is our strength. Most of all, we're going to continue to fight for the rights and opportunities and dignity of Mexican Americans and all Latinos in America. I might point out, and Jill and I talked about this, we don't get smart in this country, and the other team doesn't understand what's going on. 25 out of every 100 children in grades kindergarten through senior in high school speak Spanish. 25 out of every 100.
That's kind of crazy, but yeah, the biggest voting bloc in the next like 2 or 3 election cycles is going to be Latino voters. Obviously, he's trying to like promote that here. But when I started going to school, I wasn't allowed to speak Spanish, so I had to learn English. When I first started going to school, now my Spanish isn't that great, but I was forced to speak English. This is in the 90s, because my mom didn't want me to be held back in the ESL class. There was a class, and there were kids in my elementary school that only spoke Spanish, but my mom like forced me to speak English so I wouldn't be, set back in public school. All right, I'm over this. Now let's go see what. So just like pretty racist thing. So at the same time, this is what's going on in Mexico. AMLO has been on a tour of Central America, trying to rally the Americas together. That's been his really big mission lately, and he's been talking about it in the last week. I don't know if I'll go into. What's going on. I'll just start this. Here's a couple clips. So remember how they were talking about how Mexico and United States' future is intertwined? So under Donald Trump, he said he would invest $4 billion in Central America.
100.
100 million people. I mean, $100 million. They gave $33 billion to Ukraine. Imagine if they gave $33 billion to industrialize Latin America and, you know, to invest there and start importing shit here, or you know, with this NAFTA agreement or whatever it's called now, USMCA, with the raw materials in Mexico, like bringing back factories here, lithium, all that stuff. They just nationalized lithium. There's a lot going on in Latin America, and if the United States would just focus its money, our money, there, we can. We don't need Europe or you know, Russia. There's tons of resources, and that sounds very imperialistic, but we're talking about industrializing um, here. So, general idea.
Con todo respeto, le planteé al presidente que si va a haber una cumbre de las Américas, tienen que participar todos los países, todos los pueblos de América. Que nadie.
So what he's talking about here is that there's going to be a summit of the Americas. I think in June, and basically every country's invited except for Cuba and probably Venezuela.
Debe excluir a nadie. Todos.
All right, that's just a clip. So Homeboy's amlo saying like, "Yo, you promised to invest in Latin America. What's going on? You say our futures intertwined. Where's the investment?" So he's just been talking shit on the United States for not doing anything. See, like he's criticizing that the American officials sharply basically sent billions to Ukraine while dragging their feet to develop Central America. So Lopez Obrador demanded U.S. aid to stem poverty and joblessness that sends tens of thousands of Guatemalans north to the U.S. border. It's not just a United States problem, but Mexican government has to deal with all these migrating people too, and they didn't even, you know, they weren't part of the problem. You know, maybe they were with. Mexico had a duopoly for 100 years, and Amblos Moreno was the one to break it. So third party, maybe they had something to do with it. I don't know the history too well. I need to, and the thing is, I can't even speak to my grandparents about that because they're too poor to have to deal with politics. They're different things and they shouldn't be compared categorically, but they have already approved 30 billion for the war in Ukraine, while we have been waiting since Donald Trump asking to donate 4 billion. As of today, nothing, absolutely nothing. Lopez Obrador said, honestly, it's inexplicable, he added. For our part, we are going to continue respectfully insist on the need for the United States to collaborate. So AMLO's pet program, known as Planting Life, pays farmers a monthly wage to plant and care for fruit and lumber trees on their farm. Mexico has asked the U.S. government to help fund the program, something that has happened. Mexico was touting another program that apprentices young people to companies. Critics say both programs lack accountability. So as Biden's paying farmers not to plant in the United States, I'm sure you've seen that story if you're watching. Three people watching. Say hello. How are you guys doing? Free Palestine. Okay, let's go to the next clip. Um, so we're all suffering inflation here in the United States. Everything has gone up: gas, chicken, vegetables, rent, all this stuff that we need to, purchase to live. I haven't heard a single thing about it with our government besides inflation is false. There might be some inflation. It's just temporary, and whatever else they're saying. I don't know the recent lies. I can't keep up. Les Bones, how's it going? How's it going? I hope you enjoyed your stickers. I've been waiting to send more, but they got lost in the mail, and I'm dealing with the post office right now to figure out where they're at. Um, Basically, I sent them to my old address by accident, and I intercepted the package. I got a confirmation. They charged me $15 to intercept the package and reroute it to my local post office where I live now, which is just like 30 minutes away, like with traffic. Um, but anyways, they charged me $15. They sent me a notification saying that they stopped the package and they were going to reroute it to me. And then, like the next day, they delivered the package to the old address, and they're like giving me shit about it because they're like, "Well, we delivered it," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you charged me additional $15 to reroute my package, and you charged me, and my package is not at my new address." So I felt bad talking to the dude at the post office because he has no idea what goes on with the internet and like their scanning software. So I've been trying to get someone on the phone to refund me my $15 and also to pay for my stickers because, like, what am I supposed to do? The guy's like, just show up to the address and ask for them. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go up to this uh knock on my old door and say, can I have my mail, and like spend like 15-20 dollars in gas and bridge tolls just to get over there. Just, the chances of me running into that person probably very slim, probably working all day long. Um So I don't know what's going on with the stickers, but the stickers cost me like $45. I printed a bunch of them, and now they're lost. So a little annoyed about the post office. But let's see what amlo is doing up in Mexico.
Mexican President Andres Manuel says his administration's inflation accelerated in 6 months. He said food producers, distributors, and grocery chain This is not about price controls. It's an agreement, an alliance to guarantee fair pricing for staples. In a show of support, leaders of Mexico's most important business associations attended the news conference when the president made his announcement. Prices for many basic foods, including staples such as rice, beans, and corn, have been rising dramatically this year. And prices for tortillas, perhaps Mexico's most important staple food, are also rising. The government and the inflation.
I think you're following my channel, Les Bones, but I did a story about rising corn prices in Mexico like last year. So it's been over a year. Lots So a lot of people have been talking about these burning warehouses and stuff, and it's going to cause us food shortage. But no one's really talking about how last year there's been record decrease or decline in overall grain yields because of climate. Um, you know, uh, Crazy hot temperatures, crazy cold temperatures, lack of water. So this we've been last year. The last year wasn't a good growing season, and now we have these things going on with these warehouses being disrupted, the war in Russia, again, like record anticipated record heats and droughts here in California, um, where we waste hella water and we grow the whole country's food. So, yeah. Anyways, this has been going on. Is what I'm trying to say.
Food items, including cooking oil, certain fruits and vegetables, beef, chicken, and canned cheese.
We can't afford to buy meat, and vegetable prices are as high as meat. So we can't eat proteins because every day the prices are going up.
The government's anti-inflation plan also includes efforts to stabilize gasoline and diesel prices. The Lopez Obrador administration says it will give fertilizers to Mexican producers of corn, rice, and beans, all staple foods, in an effort to help these producers increase production. But the president insists his plan is not about price controls. Many economists are urging.
Given the economic reality we face and taking into account market controls in Mexico, I would advise against using price controls in a sustained manner.
Economists say long-term use of price controls in Latin America has led to decreases in quality of products and even shortages and rationing. Mexico City.
Those economists are talking about, you know, this anti-inflation plan and trying to keep food prices low led to shortages. While like we currently have shortages. Now I did a little bit of research, and AMLO talks about it in some of his recent speeches, but they're not like freezing prices and saying like you can't sell more than anything. The government is just subsidizing all of the producers of food, so food costs go down. Just the government subsidizing the food manufacturers and producers for the next 6 months to keep things down. Now, same with gasoline. And as I mentioned, if you were on watching earlier, like I don't know, when I first started, Mexico exports and imports processed refined gasolines. So they do very little producing of their own resource. So that's why they have to like pay. Um, they don't entirely own the oil supply chain entirely just yet, but that's changing. Okay, so where did I want to end with that? Oh, anyways, I've been putting these little notes everywhere. Oh, these little notes on people's cars, calling for my city council. Maybe you saw where I live, but don't want to announce it. So if you didn't see that, don't rewind it. But basically, I've been putting little notes on people's cars when I walk around saying, my city can mandate $3 gas, call City Hall, freeze gas prices now. Local governments can freeze gas prices, I would assume, if they mandated it. We know they can mandate a lot of things. Why don't they mandate that prices within city limits are at a certain amount? Les Bones, yeah. Mexico is going to be on the up while the United States is on the decline. And there's let me see if this link will take me. there's this professor. I don't think he's alive anymore. He's based in New Mexico. His name's Charlie Trujillo. Um, he basically talks. He wrote a paper about a new state that will be emerging out of the Southwest United States and northern Mexico in the next like 2050. And you can kind of like see it, but let me paint you the picture a little bit more. So maybe drop this in the chat. You could research this if you want to. But basically, there's going to be a new nation called El Norte, so the North, which is going to encompass all of the northern states of Mexico and the southern United States. That's including California, Texas, even though I don't really see Texas joining Mexico, but who knows? Who knows what the next couple years are going to be? But basically, man, there's this other guy. There's this other. Basically, yeah. So, how do I not share? There's this commentator. He's like based in Argentina. He talks about the Great Reset, all the good stuff, all the things you need to know. World Economic Forum, Great Reset, all the good stuff. But he did this video, and I don't want to play it because I got to find it. But he did this video about how he brought up, this is how I learned about Charlie Trujillo, Dr. Charlie Trujillo. But he talked about this, the what's going to happen in Latin America, and we're seeing the shifts of all the countries right now. All of Latin America is becoming, there's a pink tide. They're becoming more socialist. They're kicking out all the neoliberalism that exists in the southern Americas or south of the United States. But that's on purpose because there's going to be shifts in nation lines to be smaller. So they're more easier to control will be the reason. But even in Mexico, there are various regions in Mexico. The United States, its literal translation, Mexico is the United States of Mexico. Same like the United States of America, the Mexican states of Mexico. So similar to here, there's like regional movements and breaking apart. So like we're gonna see like the breaking up of California, the breaking up of Cascadia. The South is gonna probably become its own thing. Texas is gonna try to become its own thing. New England will probably be its own thing. All of the Dakota is probably gonna have its own country eventually. But interesting thing to look into. But yeah, going back to your point, I got on that tangent, Les Bones. So my grandparents are of Mexican descent. I have a weird, strange history um, some of my grandparents being Americans and then like going to Mexico and having kids, and then their kids go over here and they give birth. So they're like American or whatever, and there's like Spanish ties too. So it's very interesting history. But where was it going? Anyways, my grandparents, my mom's family, and my dad's mom, I believe, I think she's a American citizen. She was born here. But I've been trying to ask my mom if it's possible for her to get her citizenship, her Mexican citizenship, and apply. So then I can try to get it because I was looking, and if you have multiple passports, that's you can move around. The United States, if people start being anti-United States, kind of stuck here, and it seems as though it's going that way. So, I've been trying to tell my mom, try to look into getting your Mexican passport, so I can get it, or we can figure that out. Because I would love to move too. Um, you know, there's going to be investment. If the United States isn't going to invest in Mexico, it will be China. They already do. It will be Russia as well. They already are doing. They're already doing that. There's shifts that are going to happen. All right. Always a plus. Multiple passports. Yeah, Mitt Rod, Mitt Romney. There's like a Mormon community in Mexico. I have a couple of friends who are Mexicans and thought it was weird that they were Mormons. Um, but there's a thing. The inflation scares the hell out of dude. It's scary too. It scares me. And the thing is, like, if you go on YouTube, there's blogs dedicated or vlogs dedicated to people moving to Mexico, and that's what their YouTube channel is about. So if I ever get fortunate enough to figure out how to move there, and all you really need is like I need to figure out how to get my dog to Mexico. I feel like it's harder for an animal to travel than for a human to go to Mexico. But I don't know. I got to look into that, and then my got to figure out my girlfriend, and she needs to get a remote job. But as I've said many times on the stream, I do work remote, and it is nice. But there is discussion of working, a couple days hybrid or something. So I don't know what the future can look like, but if I can get a remote job, that'd be awesome. No way. That's insane, man. It's double digits. It's gonna get bad in Europe first. It sounds, I hate sounding like a crazy person when I talk to normies, but I bought a huge bag of rice and a bag of beans, and I'm buying 5-gallon containers of water. Talking about cyber polygon, all this stuff, like something's gonna happen, and got to be prepared for everything. That's like, I don't know. I've been kind of curious to go into a time like go back in time and see what was going on during Y2K, because during Y2K, my parents, they believed what the news was telling them, and they got cans of stuff, water jugs, toilet paper, batteries, um, you know, rice and beans, a bunch of top ramen noodles, and things like that, because they, they thought that something was going to happen. And I was just trying to explain it to my parents, how what cyber polygon is, and they understand, but I feel like they just like, no, they're just in their bubble. But I've been trying to tell them, like, how you guys freaked out about Y2K? Like, what if that was just getting people prepared for this kind of thing? And yes, Les Bones, I am growing my own food. Thankfully, I enjoyed my first harvest of spinach this past weekend. Um, I don't think all organic. Spinach had some caterpillars got to the spinach before I did, left little holes and stuff, but it's all good. It's good for them. It's good for me. And just made sure I didn't eat any bugs. But I do need to figure out better anti things. What's it called? Getting rid of the bugs and things. I heard you like if you spray cinnamon and cayenne pepper and water, that'll like really help out. But I just need to get like little spray bottles. That's really what's stopping me from doing that. I'm pretty good though when it comes to there's this channel. Let me go on this Instagram. If you guys want tips on growing things, damn, what's this guy's name? Maybe next time I stream, I'll have it. But he provides like tips on how to like grind up like eggshells for the calcium and blah blah blah, and mix this and that and banana peels and steep them, and you got like potassium rich water, which or nitrogen rich water and stuff like that. I actually, yeah. So I know there's a lot of cities where you can't grow food in your front yard because it needs to be a lawn. But I heard that there's a bill being in Australia to ban growing food, like in general. I don't know if it's all of Australia or just the state. Let me play Amlo's speech to close out what my thoughts were around this. And then let's see. Maybe I should share a song or something too. I haven't done that in a while. This is going to be in Spanish, so I'll try to translate.
Amigas, amigos, compañeras, compañeros, trabajadores.
Does it sound good on this? Maybe you need to like lower it a little bit. Let me know.
Me da mucho gusto estar con ustedes en esta conmemoración.
Whoops. All right, you speak Spanish.
El mensaje que nos dirige el presidente constitucional de los Estados Unidos mexicanos, el licenciado Andrés Manuel López Obrador.
Dude, this guy reminds me of my grandpa.
Amigas, amigos, compañeras, compañeros, trabajadores. Me da mucho gusto estar con ustedes en esta conmemoración mundial del
Oh, so this is Labor Day or International Workers' Day.
Día del Trabajo. No podemos omitir, no podemos olvidar el por qué se conmemora, se recuerda esta fecha. Decía Cicerón.
He's talking about, so if you don't speak Spanish and Les Bones, that's awesome. He's basically saying why do we celebrate Labor Day? And he's going to talk about Chicago right now.
Que la historia era la maestra de la vida.
I'm probably just going to skip ahead of this stuff. If you guys don't know the Labor Day history or the International Workers' history, look it up.
Ninguna prestación en el caso de nuestro país no es más que neoporfirismo, donde el trabajador, el campesino, el indígena era marginado. Pues también durante la larga noche del periodo neoliberal.
He's talking about, during the dark nights of neoliberalism, They took advantage of workers.
No se tomaba en cuenta a los trabajadores.
Didn't pay attention to
Y
workers.
se pensaba que se podía crecer, que se podían desarrollar las naciones sin el trabajo. O mejor dicho, se simulaba de que el trabajo no contaba, que lo importante era el capital.
So, I might skip ahead a little bit more, but so he's at a refinery. The investment, the Mexicans are now building their first refinery in the last 40 years, so they can process their own oil. He's talking about how capitalists don't care about workers; they only care about capital. And I might skip ahead to where I want to get to because I forget where that's at.
Son fundamentales en la construcción de esta obra, que es un ejemplo a nivel mundial, porque no se haría una refinería en ningún lugar del mundo con 9,000 millones de dólares, ni en 3 años y medio, ni con la calidad de esta refinería. Es un ejemplo.
He's talking about how basically putting workers first and building out this refinery should be an example that's being set around the world.
Por eso les reafirmo el compromiso de que vamos a seguir trabajando juntos, que vamos a seguir trabajando y procurando que haya justicia, que aumenten los salarios.
So he says, we're going to keep working. We're going to make sure that there's worker rights, justice, increase wages. Look what he says about wages. Look at what he specifically says about wages, though, right now.
Que haya prestaciones, seguridad social. Eso está aquí y ya lo estamos cumpliendo. No son palabras, son hechos. Desde que llegamos, además el salario mínimo ha aumentado 70%, como nunca había sucedido.
So he says in 3.5 years since he's taken over that we increased the minimum wage 70%, and that's never been done before.
Y van a seguir incrementándose los salarios. Y sube el mínimo y tienen que seguir incrementándose todos los salarios por encima siempre de la inflación, no lo que sucedía anteriormente.
So he's saying that wages in the last 3 years that he's been president, wages have gone up 70%. In 3 years, wages have gone up 70%. That will continue to rise. Even, that's the goal, for wages to continue to rise, and they will always be over the current cost of inflation, going to where Les Bone was saying over here. We're all worried about inflation. The Mexican promise is that your wages are going to continue to go up, and that's with inflation. So we haven't had any wage increase here in the United States since George W. Bush, 7.25 an hour, and now we're up to 11% inflation. This year, personally, I got a raise, and it was, I don't even remember it. I think it was 2%. I got a 2% raise. And I was like, thanks. Thank you. Thanks for my 2% raise with 11% inflation.
Y algo que quiero también informar, ya pronto se va a inaugurar esta obra, se acaba de prometer y es una mujer que tiene palabra. Rocío, ¿verdad que sí tiene palabra? Sí cumple. De que vamos a inaugurar el día 2 de julio, en 2 meses. Para que los adversarios no vayan a empezar ya a decir que todo va a ser faramaya. La última refinería que construyeron los neoliberales ya fue la de Salina Cruz hace 40 años.
All right, so you're just talking about the last refinery built was 40 years ago. I've mentioned that already.
Que no hacían una refinería porque ellos decidieron vender petróleo crudo y comprar las gasolinas. Esa fue la política del periodo neoliberal. Es como si vendiéramos naranja y compráramos jugo de naranja.
So he makes his jokes basically saying that the policy in Mexico during neoliberalism, which again, the last 100 years in Mexico there's been a duopoly up until 2016 or 18, when 2018 when AMLO took over with the third party that he created. But the joke that he says here is that we used to sell our crude oil and then buy gasoline. That's like if we sold oranges and bought orange juice. It just doesn't make sense.
Ahora es distinto. Ahora vamos a procesar toda nuestra materia prima. Ya el año próximo ya vamos a dejar de comprar la gasolina en el extranjero. Vamos a ser autosuficientes.
So next year, Mexico will be processing all its capacity of gasoline, and you can argue against the whole, climate change thing. I get you. I'm not going to argue with you about that. I want cleaner air too, but they have a natural resource and they want to use that natural resource. They should be able to use that natural resource. They have sun too, but there's plenty of sun in Mexico, and they can throw up solar panels all over Mexico. They have the lithium to build the batteries. They need an investment as far as like manufacturing infrastructure, but Mexico builds most like GMC cars, Chevrolets, Audis, Volkswagens, and if you look at your Audi that you're driving around, I think it's made in Mexico. And Volkswagen's biggest plant outside of Germany is in Mexico, so they have like the technology to do all these things. But in 3 years they built a refinery, and they're going to be processing their own gas with their own natural resource. That's the same thing that they're going to do with the lithium. They nationalized lithium, but the conditions that we're going to take out the lithium and refine it ourselves, and then we'll sell it to the global market.
Entonces, ya se va a inaugurar la refinería, pero ¿qué sucede? Entonces,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I would be proud if AMLO was my president too. Every president has, things to be criticized about. I know he let this Commander X be basically abducted from Mexico, but there's only so much power that the Mexican president has, unfortunately. Like he's still struggling with the system. Like the system hasn't been eroded in Mexico, and a new system hasn't been created, but he's in the process of doing that, and he's been doing some good things, I think, like nationalizing lithium, not bringing back oil, trying to, he created a jobs program.
todas esas obras es muy noble la industria de la construcción porque se da mucho trabajo, en poco tiempo se reactiva la economía, pero cuando se terminan las obras, ya.
Okay, so probably can cut it out now, but basically he ends basically the speech with, this is just the first project of many. We have roads to build. We have other factories to build. There will be work. That's the priority, is like empowering the worker. Let me try to see if there's anything left.
Y nosotros consideramos que se necesita que el Estado promueva el desarrollo, como se necesita también la inversión privada y se necesita el sector social. Son los tres motores para el crecimiento económico: sector público, sector privado y sector social. Y, repito, en el sector social están los trabajadores. Así es como podemos sacar adelante a nuestro país.
Okay, so he says that for development, you need three things. You do need private investment, you do need public investment, but then you also need the worker.
Durante mucho tiempo no se pensó en la inversión pública. No había prácticamente inversión pública. En el sureste pasaron décadas sin que se hicieran inversiones. 26. Y que estamos muy contentos de estar aquí.
All right, so that's his speech. So to tie up this thing, AMLO based, Joe Biden not based. AMLO looking out for the future of his country. He wants to invest in his country. He wants to build relations with all of Latin America. He has a vision for a Latin America that is united, and that includes the United States. He always says that it always includes all of America. We all need to work together to achieve the problems or to solve the problems that the continent has. So I don't know. This dude's a pretty good leader, in my opinion. All of not Mexico, but all of the Latin American countries, dude, they all have like very strong, like revolutionary, some energy, more some than others. But we need that. Joe Biden was saying how so many people, so many kids in the next coming years are going to be speaking Spanish in the classroom. Like the Latin American, the Spanish speaking population is going to be the most dominant ones. And we need to be, in my opinion, as like Latin Americans, we need to be advocating for revolution as much as possible because we're going to be the ones in charge pretty soon. We need to make sure that all of the people who struggle will be brought up with us because we know, I think we all know that, and that's just like a cultural thing, um, my opinion. Okay, so there's more about his little trip. He went to Cuba. He went to Cuba. He wants he wants to include Cuba. He wants to what I got out of his Cuba. Let me just bring it up, see if there's one. Should be it. Short. And I've been going for an hour and 11 minutes. Is there one that's really short?
Buenas tardes, seguimos aquí en el emblemático Palacio de la Revolución, donde hace
All right, I'm not gonna watch these. I wish they were in English. Probably why my viewer count went down. Oh wait, what? Let's watch this really quick.
The president of Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, condemned that the United States did not invite Cuba to the 9th edition of the Summit of the Americas, while urging the inclusion of all the countries of the continent.
If there's going to be a summit of the Americas, all the countries have to participate. All the peoples of America. Nobody should be excluded. Nobody. Everybody. Everybody. All. 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 If there's going to be a summit of the Americas, all the countries have to participate. All the peoples of America. Nobody should exclude anybody. All. 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 The policy in America has to change. We can no longer maintain the policy of 2 centuries ago in a very respectful way. Because how is it that we convene a summit of the Americas, but we do not invite them? Where are those who are not invited from? From which continent?
Whew, man. So basically, whew. All right. So basically, what he talks about Cuba, and I probably did. Already repeat myself already. I don't even know. It's been a long day, but basically, what he talks about is that he wants to be the like the negotiator between the United States and Cuba to lift the blockade, which he's been advocating for a long time. He talks about the Cuban Revolution in speeches. I'm sure I streamed about that months ago, but Cuban Revolution was the inspiration for all of America, and it should be inspiration for all of Latin America. So he's been very advocate. He's been a huge advocate for ending the blockade, and like offering like even like Julian Assange asylum. So if somebody can do some crazy stuff and get Julian Assange rerouted to Mexico, that'd be cool. All right. Les Bones, if you're still watching, thank you for dropping in. My energy's kind of low tonight. It's been a little it's been a little hard. Let me stop streaming for a quick second. Let me find the song and then I'm gonna cut it. But there's a band that I want. Okay, here it is. So here's a band, the Soul Jazz Orchestra. Play the official lyrics video. It's a really cool band. They have like I don't know what worldly music, but good messages, all about like revolution, basically. Let's take a listen. Steve Jackson, what's going on? Thank you for joining this stream. Let me know. Got your popcorn? You guys ready? Yes, Les Bones. The Restream logo. Need to again. Thank you for reminding me about this. But do your part to support the people of Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine during this time. Please remember to also like, share, and subscribe to the broadcast. And you can always follow me on Twitter at @atres_. So let's finish playing this music here while we stand with Ukraine. Yeah, not today. It's coming. Slava Zucchini, Yayo Ukraini. I'm not going to play 5 minutes of this song, but take a listen to it. Listen to the lyrics. It's talking about a house of cards that's coming down. It's by Soul Jazz Orchestra, 2019. They have a bunch of good music. If you like that kind of music, that worldly, I don't know, ska-ish. I don't know what that is, but take a listen. Good lyrics. They have a bunch of stuff. They have some about a slumlord, talking about raising rents and things like that. So if you enjoy those kind of songs about sticking it to the man, I highly recommend this band. So I'm gonna start to close out the stream, and I want to thank you for dropping by, dropping in. Let me put on some background music here. One last thing while I go. Pig heart transplanted into Maryland. Maryland man was carrying an animal virus. A virus found in the pig's heart is likely to be the cause of death. So they transplanted a pig's heart into this guy's body, and it had a virus. What that virus was? Another pig-related pandemic? Some researchers are concerned that transferring pig viruses to humans could trigger a new pandemic if a virus adapts inside a patient's body and then spreads to doctors and nurses. So they're talking about pig virus pandemics, bird flu pandemics. Something's up with the animals. And be aware. But anyways, thank you for joining. I'm gonna head out. Remember, if you have a kufia, a hata, Wednesday, International Kufia Day. Fools of what, Steve? Warriors on Wednesday, if you have one. World Kufia Day. Free Palestine. Alright guys, I'm gonna head out. I'm actually going to... I think I saw that Extra Bula was live. I might go into his chat. I will. Oh yeah, we're all animals here. Alright guys, I'm gonna head to Extra Bula's chat and I'm gonna make food. So I'm gonna be there. I don't know how to raid people, but I'm raiding you manually. Go over to that chat. Peace out. Stay safe out there. The apocalypse is coming. We just don't know when.